Hi, it's Guy DiMartino. I am a civil rights lawyer, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the George Floyd case from the aspect of the civil law. Now, many folks have been following what happened in Minneapolis, and we've heard a lot of folks talking about the criminal matter. But besides the criminal law, there's also some civil issues and some civil matters that can be looked at in order to get compensation for Mr. Floyd's family or kids or dependents. And so when we look at a police incident like this, there are definitely two types of causes of action that you might have. The first would be based on Section 1983, and that would be a constitutional claim under the U.S. Constitution and the statute. And then under state law, there may be a negligence claim. So let me give you a little bit of the analysis of what a lawyer would do when looking at these types of claims on behalf of Mr. Floyd's family. Let's first talk about the constitutional claim. So the constitutional claim would be an unreasonable force claim against Mr. Floyd, against the officer who killed Mr. Floyd. And because Mr. Floyd was not in custody and had not seen a judicial officer who determined probable cause for his arrest, this would come under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And the standard in the Fourth Amendment is whether the actions of the police officer were objectively unreasonable. And when we look at the objective unreasonable standard, the things that the courts or the elements that the courts look at are things like this. The underlying nature of the crime. It's my understanding that Mr. Floyd's alleged crime was a property damage crime because it was actually a $20 counterfeit bill. So it was not a crime that had to do with physical or bodily injury to somebody else. It wasn't a robbery, it wasn't a murder, it was simply passing an alleged counterfeit bill. The other thing that they would look at, or element the courts would look at, would be what is the danger to the folks around? Was there any danger in the scenario to any third parties around? And then the court would look at any danger to the officers. Was he resisting? Was he under control? What actually transpired? So it's based on the totality of the circumstances for this type of claim. So the odds are that against the individual police officer, the one who was on Mr. Floyd's neck, the odds are that the family will be able to show some type of unreasonable force and have a constitutional claim under the Fourth Amendment. Now, as to the other officers that were there is a duty in an unreasonable force case, a duty to protect when somebody is in the control and custody of another officer. So there is a duty for the other officers on the civil side to have intervened and stop what was going on, maybe pull the officer off of Mr. Floyd or things along those lines. So they might have some liability individually to Mr. Floyd's family. In my experience, in bringing these cases and defending these cases, the issue is when law enforcement gets booted off or when prison guards get fired because of the actual episode, many times there's no coverage. And the odds are, after this guy gets done paying for his criminal defense, that there's not going to be a pocket individually for the family to get any type of compensation because of Mr. Floyd's alleged wrongful death. Now, you may be asking, can we bring a claim against the police department or the city of Minneapolis? So the question is, yes, but it's a different standard and it's a little bit tougher under constitutional claims to bring a claim against the police force or the city. These types of claims, you see, if you worked for me and you took the office car, or you were running an errand going to the post office and you were involved in a car accident and you were on the clock doing work for my office, I would be responsible for your negligence under the theory of respondent superior. That would be principal agent. I'm your principal, you work for me, and you're my agent. So I could be responsible, or the office could be responsible for your alleged negligence. In police cases, and in cases involving municipalities, when we look at the constitutional realm, now there is no respondent superior liability as a general rule. So in order to bring a claim against the municipality or the police department or the city, depending upon the structure over there in Minneapolis, you would have to bring a claim under the Supreme Court case called Monell. And this is a claim saying that the policies and procedures that the municipality have set up a scheme or a plan or set up a situation where they allowed constitutional violations to occur. And that's called a policy and practice or a policy and custom claim under the Supreme Court case Monell. And that will actually look at other episodes, what the police department or city has done in the past, whether it has a policy of sweeping these things under the rug. Sometimes you're able to hook wink a negligent hiring or supervision claim under Monell, depending upon the facts and circumstances of the case. So that's it on the constitutional or civil rights side. Now, the benefit of being able to bring a civil rights claim is that many times attorney's fees will attach to that. Potentially, there could be also a negligence claim against either the police department or the municipality, depending upon how it is set up. Many states have a specific tort claim statute that you have to go ahead and follow, and the types of claims that would be brought in this matter could be a negligent training, a negligent supervision. I understand that the alleged offending officer might have had some problems in the past, so maybe he was not adequately trained or supervised after the occurrence in order to straighten things out. The other types of claims against the other officers, I understand that either one or two of the other officers, this was like their second or third week on the job. So they had just recently started the job, so there might be a negligent training claim against them. So as a constitutional lawyer and somebody who brings these claims and somebody who defends these claims, that's how I would analyze it. Look, you can't bring Mr. Floyd back, but there might be available some compensation for his family, for his dependents, and things along those lines. If you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I am Guy DiMartino. Have yourself a great day.